The world's made this like reinvention. There's no like new person. I'm still the same person. And I just worked a lot as a kid, and I had a really good like sense of, okay, I'm gonna do this, and I always wanna be thankful for what I had, so I'm gonna do the best that I can. Even as a kid, I just said if I work really hard and I make all the money that I have to make, so now if I wanna make a music video and do whatever I want, I can literally do that. I think a lot of people wanted to try to make me the white Nicki Minaj, and I just didn't wanna be. I don't wanna be on everyone's features. I've done great features, and I've worked with really dope people. I have Big Sean on my record, Ludacris, I have Nelly on my record. I have some really dope, and Future, who's like killed it. But that's not what I'm trying to do, you know? And my talent, is I always saying, is I'm a singer. I love like, you know, hood music, but that's not what I'm like trying to be. So that was like something really important that I thought Can't Stop would do that, because I wanted to like gradually let people get kind of know like who I am. My record's gonna be like a movie. It's gonna all like unfold, where it starts out, you gotta know the character, you gotta know me, and you gotta go through that conflict and sadness to get to that happy ending. That's how I really want my whole record to be set up, is just like a movie. Yeah, my last record, I mean, I feel like I'm so disconnected from it now, because even trying to connect to the person you are at 16 when you're like in your 20s, you just don't even really know that like person anymore. Like I'm not trying to have anyone think I'm trying to be a hip hop artist, because I know some people are like, Mike Will, you know, ex-rap producer. I heard someone talking about that on the radio today, calling him an ex-rap producer. He's not. He's just like, you can't say that. That's like me saying an ex-pop singer, because I'm not. I'm a pop singer. I think actions speak way louder than words, so I'm not one to sit here and just be like, you know, I'm grown up, I'm not who you think I am, because you see what I look like. You know, like I'm obviously have found myself in a different place. We Can't Stop is kind of like the more mature party in the USA. It's not just about being like, we don't care what people say, it's my mouth. It's about living for like right now and just being with people that matter.
Hit you up with the big one, Madonna.
Yes.
She's a big fan of yours.
She's great. I'm a huge fan of hers as well, so it's awesome. For anyone to compare me to her is like awesome. It's scary.
But you've actually gone out there and said that you kind of, I mean, your ambitions are incredible. You want to have that scale of...
Yeah, I want to be able to reinvent myself, you know, and not just feel like I'm kind of stuck in a rut.
Yeah. Well, you kind of have already, because we're going to check out 7 Things in just a second, and it's kind of that moving into sort of womanhood. And how are you finding that transition? I guess it's hard with fans. It's
a hard one. I feel like, you know, the media is kind of hard to let go, you know what I mean? But it's...
As my fans the other day, when I was singing this song Lilac Wine in Melbourne, and I was telling them, you know, that if you're sad, just live in that moment and just be sad, and you don't have to, you know, it can be something that's internal and you work through it, and don't try to just, everyone's always trying to rush out of their emotions. It's like, if you're feeling good, feel good. If you're feeling sad, just be in it. So even though it seems kind of cheesy, you just say be in the moment and be present all the time, which is kind of what I'm doing.
Well said. And we love the way that you treat your fans as well. During the commercial breaks, you're out, you're talking to everyone. How important are they?
If I wasn't here, I would like to be doing some sort of maybe stand-up comedy. So I kind of think that this gives me my, this is my way of doing that.
Have you got a joke?
It's on my, I am the joke. Look at me. I'm a walking joke. And yeah, hence this hair is literally $1.50 from a drugstore, because I didn't want to do my hair at 5 in the morning. So I just put this on, and my fans give me all this cool stuff. So I am the joke. And yeah, so I just kind of feel like, you know, especially too from coming, you know, from like acting, it's kind of fun for me to just be able to entertain in every way. Yeah. And that's just what I like to do. It's kind of, you know, it's when it's too quiet and it's too, you know, calm, it's kind of anxious for me, because I'm not used to it.
Well, look, you're not a total joke, because being Miley Cyrus is a pretty big business. And you've changed quite a bit in the last few years. How important was it for you to shed the Disney? You know, we knew you as a little girl.
You know, what's funny is with everything, I didn't really think about it, because, you know, again, that just seems like disingenuous, and I'm too honest. I get told that all the time, and I'm too much myself, if anyone's ever been on my Instagram. And so, you know, I never really thought about it, and that's the thing about, like, being happy, is that's what my dad's always said, which, again, it's cheese, but if you're happy and you're doing what you love, then you're not going to work, you know, ever in your life. So I don't really feel like I'm ever working, and so I didn't sit there with a plan with a bunch of, you know, old dudes that were going to say, this is how we make you a big pop star and make you not, you
but
know,
you've got to be naughty.
Yeah, it's just like, I just did stuff. Trust me, everyone was telling me not to do it, and they were looking at me like I was crazy. And then when We Can't Stop came out, I kind of just said, all right, see, it works. So now you just sense, and I'm really lucky because, you know, a lot of people, especially in pop, they have these people that are just telling them what to do. You know, you can't take pictures doing certain things. You can't, which you probably shouldn't, but whatever. You know, you can't take pictures doing certain things. You can't do this, you can't do that. It's just like, well, you're running your own business. We're one of the few people that no one employs me. I'm myself, you know? So it's like the ultimate freelance.
What about the Robin Thicke performance on MTV? Was that planned or was that all?
Like kind of hysteria after wasn't really planned. I didn't really think anything about it. I knew that maybe MTV wasn't going to have it, so in the dress rehearsal, half the things that were done were not done. So they didn't kick me off the show and put someone else in my place.
Right.
You know, but I didn't really, like, again, I didn't think anything of it. I just came out and did it, you know, and that was what felt right at that time.
There was so much focus on you after that, and I remember seeing, particularly American TV, but in Australia we were talking about as well, Miley's out of control, is she okay, young Hollywood, you know. Does that sort of stuff hurt when you hear people, adults, talking about you on television?
No, I mean, it really doesn't bother me when, like, people tell me I'm crazy because I am, and you know. But the thing is my dad has always taught me, like, the most important thing. And I grew up around people like Johnny Cash and Dolly Parton, and those people are not normal. And so, you know, and so it's just always been the way you treat people, which I've had the greatest examples of that. And so there's many girls that I know that are in this industry that come out and sit like this, and they'll be all polite, but in person, they're not so polite and they're not so kind. And I hope all the time is I've heard from reputation that my reputation is a good one, and that, you know, I say hello to everybody and I treat everybody the same. I actually treat people at the bottom of the list much better than the people at the top, because the people at the top have enough people sucking up to them. You know, so, and that's something I've learned from Dolly, is she'll go to the janitor before the director and give them a signed autograph and a hat, you know. So that's just the way I've been brought up. So anytime anyone thinks I'm crazy, it's like I'd rather be crazy than not a nice person.
I wanted to ask you, do you feel like you're a role model to your audience, or do you reckon that's a tag that we just throw around too freely?
I feel like I'm an influence and hopefully an inspiration to someone, but I'm not a parent, you know, so that's what I always constantly remind people is I don't ever say I'm not going to make mistakes or I'm not going to try something because, you know, I have the world on my shoulders or, you know, scared of making a mistake. It's like, I can't, because these kids are going to get to live their life, and at the end of the day, I'm not going to get to live mine.
And you can't forever do what everybody expects you to do or wants you to do.
Yeah,
you do what you want to do.
At the end of the day, like, I worked 4 years on a show that was amazing, but at the end of the day, it was a character. It wasn't me. And now I've kind of vowed to myself never to do that again.
That show was Hannah Montana.
It was a totally different time in your life.
Yeah.
It's been, and now, you know, it's funny. And I remember you're on a different record label now, but you were still on the Disney label back then. And I asked you some anti-Disney questions, and you could tell the label guy was getting really uneasy. I was like, come on, girl, you're over. I know you are. And you were being very PC about it, but.
Well, because I was getting checks at that point.
Yeah, you're still getting paid.
I'm not trying to not get paid.
Yeah, and so now, you know, here you are, and I knew it too. I knew that you just eventually, you know, oh God, Hannah was so long ago, and I'm growing up, and I need to break into my own person. I want to be my own artist. There's so many things. I'm talking for you. There's so many things.
I like it. Yes. I don't have my brain is, half of it's working, the other half is still at GMA and Kimmel.
I understand. Feel free to nod and smile. Nod and smile. You are now, you know, you want to talk about things that are going on in your life, and you do go out and you do enjoy yourself, and you have friends and you party, and this is what 20-year-olds do, and here you are. So I'm happy you're able to do it.
Thank you. Thank you very much. I think people are watching the video and everyone's seeing more of me and kind of knowing where I am in my life, which is just like I'm here. I've taken my 2 years off where I just got to live, and like now I'm just here to work, and I just want to be back like on top doing what I'm doing and back on doing music, which has been happening. We broke the record of Vivo, which is super dope. We can't stop, so I'm excited.
I don't really listen to criticism because if you don't want to watch my video, you can always turn it off. Or if you don't want to listen to my music, you don't have to. So I've never been one to really care about what people think because I'm the artist, you know what I mean? And that's the art that I'm doing, and it doesn't really matter what everyone else thinks as long as you're happy with, you know, what you do.
I've been really good at making my own mistakes and plan on making some more, you know. So, you know, that's the journey that we live. You do some things right, you do some things wrong. You get knocked down, you get back up. You know, that's life.
So, what will change in your life when you turn 18?
I don't know. I hope that people really do actually get to see me as like an artist. This is one of the talks that my mom, I do as much as I gripe about driving with her. I do like it because we always talk about good stuff. And we were just talking in the car that, like, you know, I think as, like, I get older and all that stuff, I think people will start to realize that there's a lot of things that I've done that I feel like I didn't get recognized for, and a lot of it was because I was younger and it was like, oh, Disney's doing that. But at the end of the day, Disney isn't doing my voice. Disney isn't doing all the actions that I did. I did it. And there's a lot of things that I started doing that didn't get credit for.
When did you start with Disney?
I auditioned. I just got braces, so I was 11. Yeah.
So 11.
When I
and
first
then you're going to be
auditioned,
18. And, I mean, I would imagine it feels like you've been in a grind to a degree. A good grind, but a grind to a degree. And you've accomplished a lot. And so it's not like you just started. But in a way, this is the beginning of a whole new life for you, isn't it?
Yeah. Well, when I think back, like, coming up soon, I'm doing Good Morning America again. And when I think back to, like, the very first time, that's always kind of a surreal moment when I go back to that show, because that was, like, my first, like, big show that I ever did. And it was at Hannah,
Outside
Montana.
performing?
Yeah. And it was at Hannah, Montana. And there was, like, people that slept out there from 3 a.m. And now to go there now and to look at the crowd and see that they're a little bit older, but it's still the same, like, energy. It's still so good. So when I think about that, I do just feel, like, so lucky, because, you know, some people, you know, get to go perform there once, and I've done it a few times, and every time it's been, like, really, really great. And so I kind of think about that and how nervous I was, and now how it's gotten easier.
I don't think you've ever been nervous, by the way.
It's kind of true. Well,
I mean, when have you ever been nervous?
I would say I talk a lot when I'm nervous, but I talk a lot anyway.
You talk a lot anyway. All right, so all those years with Disney, all those years with the Hannah Montana thing, and then you released this album and the video, you had to, deep down inside, feel like there was a little bit of risk in that.
Yeah, I was a little bit nervous, but only because I'm not scared of my fans not believing it, because my fans love me and I love them, and we have such a good relationship, and it's because of the honesty that I put into my albums. And now I feel like this record, it's just as honest as the rest. It's just from now someone that's like 17 going on 18, not
Right.
12 going on 13.
But don't you think she's going on like 30? I'm looking at your mom through the window.
You still don't
for
believe
sure.
that. The first time I came in
I
here, you were
told
like,
you.
take off your face. I know you're 35 underneath there somewhere.
I want the mask off. Well, no.
Being this young girl into being a young woman, it's a natural progression to start connecting with our sexuality.
For me, what I do, it's like, that's not the point. You're not sitting there trying to be sexy. If people find that and find you sexy, take it as a compliment. You know what I mean? And then people look at it to so the wrong way, especially if you're young. It's like, no, this is just who I am. And thank you for thinking I'm sexy. You know what I mean? People are so scared of seeing a woman being like, this is who I am. You're not going to change it, you know? And if you're a woman, you did not sing about sex. And now, if that's not what you're singing about, if that's not your entire image, you won't get played, you know?
So that's the duality, right? That's the mixed message that, again, we were talking about a little bit, which is that sex is such a currency to succeeding on a mass level, right? So if you sexualize in any way, if you sexualize yourself in any way, it's applauded, and also you're pulled down at the same time.
Right. That's a recent kind of experience as well, more than, I think the first thing, it was like the last season of my show, I put out I Can't Be Tamed, which even just the title of that, for a woman to say that she can't be tamed, that's of all people in the world, my face saying I can't be tamed, when that's really all people wanted to do, that I think proves how sexist people, still really are, and judgmental, and it is the whole thing of saying, be sexy, but our way or no.
Yeah, with conditions.
Yeah.
Women are not really encouraged to have a voice when it comes to sex.
Yeah.
And a lot of young girls don't know that they have the right to say, actually, this is a mutual reciprocation. It's not just about your pleasure, it's about mine too.
I was just talking about this at dinner last night, and the girls that really base how much they're worth on the sexual favors that they can do for somebody. And that makes me really sad, because sex actually is really beautiful. It's like the only way that we create, and it's the only way that the world keeps going. So it's ignorant to make it, not talk to it, talk to your kids about it, or make it seem as magical and as cool as it actually is.
Yeah.
They have a TV, they know what sex is. So everyone knows, so educate them, let them know that they wouldn't be here without it, and it is a beautiful thing, and it is magic, and it is when you connect with somebody, and it isn't how much you're worth. Your worth isn't based on that. Your worth is based on, how you feel about yourself.
It sounds like you've always had a pretty good sense of yourself, though, even if you didn't, honor it.
But I've lost it a lot. There's times that you hear what you should be, so much that you lose like what you actually are. Do you know what I'm saying?
Yeah,
and,
I know what you're saying, and it's a really
really
painful
hard
place.
But it's for anybody. It's not just for entertaining. I just have it in such a different way. But you know.
And by the way, like any like young girl who's going between like age 12 and age 16, like for me, that was an incredibly hard time.
Yeah.
And I never met a girl who's in that time frame, that age range, who isn't having a difficult time with that transition.
Yeah.
You know, from being like a girl to a young woman. And that's a really difficult time for every single male and female.
Yeah.
It's not even women, it's just people.
Yeah.
Do you think it's a different thing if you're going to make a video because people like you to see this Hannah Montana style and have to be into this new style?
Yeah, I think it's because they've always known Gaga to be that way. They started out with me being 11. You know, she came out later as she's older, and then because I think they probably know me since I'm younger, they want me to stay young forever.
And are you sometimes worried about people will like this new style, or not this new style? Actually, you're just growing up. Actually,
exactly. Yeah, I think people are always scared of people that they've watched, since a young age grow up, and they always take things that they're doing that's different as a mistake. And I don't think what I'm doing is a mistake. It's who I am at this moment, and that's what I want to be as an artist. Is always be who I am to the fullest at that moment.
How much of yourself do you put on this? Do you hold back?
No,
do you
can't.
Do you
I'm trying
stand
to win a Grammy.
by?
Once I left my show, I didn't want anyone around to tell me the way that I was going to do things. I wanted to go make mistakes, go be who I was going to be, have no one that I have to answer yes or no to, and then I can make my record and then say, this is what I made. This is, who wants to be a part of this.
Zac Efron, went from High School Musical to doing some good movies. He's doing Charlie St. Cloud this summer. I wonder, is it harder for girls to change?
I think there's always going to be, because girls are immediately going to say, oh, she's trying to sell sex. Well, I love Zac Efron, but what's he selling? He's gorgeous. He's hot. I don't go see his movie because I'm like, he is such a fantastic actor. I think he's hot, so I'm going to go see his movie.